Hello and good day, Algebra. We will record as long as the internet lets us, but either way, we're going to get into CO27 today, which is graphing an equation in point-slope form. Another tool to your repertoire here for graphing equations. In the previous unit, we graphed equations from slope-intercept form. This is probably your current favorite method to graph from because it literally gives you everything you need. It gives you the y-intercept and it gives you the slope. Right? The b variable is the y-intercept. That's where you begin. That's where you start, the first point that you plot. And then the m variable is your slope. That's how you move to get to that second point. Okay. On that last test, this objective was one of the lower average score objectives. So some of you really get it, and some of you really don't. There are a lot of 4s and a lot of 2s, not a whole lot of 3s. So it's one of the things where you got it or you did. The good news is you're going to practice equations in this form again today. So if you didn't get it, it's an opportunity to go back and take another look.
Did we earn a 90% average?
Warning for you, I did not see a hand up. Sorry. The other equation that you graphed from was standard form. Okay, and standard form, it really didn't help us graph. We had to convert the slope-intercept form anyway, but you can graph from it. You have to do other work first. Point-slope form, similar to slope-intercept form, is it gives you everything you need in the equation, right? Because when we wrote this equation last week in CO26, you recall it's got some similar features here. M is still what? Slope. Okay. So as long as you know a point on the line, you can use the slope to get to another point. How does point-slope form give you a point on the line? Kylie? Yes. Okay. The values, I'm going to make my comma very big so you don't confuse it with the ones there. But the values for x1 and y1 represent that specific point. Okay. So the steps to graph from point-slope form, you're still plotting an ordered pair. It's just not going to be the y-intercept. It's going to be someplace else. But then once you get that point, you can use the slope to get your second one. You make your line. You're done. Right? Questions on the notes or anything I've said so far? Yes?
Did we earn a 90% average?
Not even close.
Okay.
No.
Helen!
Does retakes?
It's an original score. It's an original score. That's why I lowered it for try to 85% now. On any test, not just.
Did we get 85?
I think your average was 85% actually. It's actually not shabby.
Yeah, you were a little.
That's
really
so
good.
I was
Me and
hyperbolic.
David take
No,
it.
hyperbolic.
Would've been like 90.
William, second warning for you. Okay. All right. Going down to the graphs here. Graph each equation. What form is the first equation in? Raise your hand. What form is the first equation in? Claire. Slope-intercept form. And you recognize that because it is y equals mx plus b, right? Y is by itself. So what point are we plotting first? Joey? -2 on the y-axis, right? Okay. That's what slope-intercept form gives us. It gives us the y-intercept. And then, how do we get to our second point? Damien.
Thank you. Do you go up 3 and over 1?
Yes.
To the right?
This 3, our slope, is like an up 3 over 1. So from this point that we just plotted, up 3 into the right 1 gives us our second point, and we've got our line. Okay? Slope-intercept form. Point-slope form. Point-slope form. Now, before I ask this next question, I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint. Remember that these subtraction signs are part of the formula. They're part of the formula. So what values for x1 and y1 do we have? Where's this ordered pair we're starting with, Alex?
-4.
No.
-4.
No. Catherine?
1 dash 4.
1, 4. 1, 4. Right? Because that x1 value is the 1, it's with that x minus x1. It's kind of backwards for how you read it, right? The x1 value is the 1. The y1 value is the 4. And the reason why it's positive 1 and positive 4 is because those subtraction signs being part of the formula, meaning that in this ordered pair, both 1 and 4 are positive values. What would this sign be here if it was negative in the ordered pair? Ellen? It'd be addition. Okay? So when you look at the formula, the sign of the ordered pair is the opposite of what you see in the formula. Okay? So 1, 4 is where we start. There we are. Okay, 1 on x, 4 on y. And then what slope are we using? What slope are we using? Arlene? 2. 2 over 1. So up 2 over 1 from that point that we just plotted. And there's our line. There you go. Okay. Y equals negative 5x plus 4. Walk me through how we're going to graph this. Who is feeling good, confident on a Monday morning? Joey?
So you start at 4 on the y-axis.
Yes.
And then you go down 5 and over 1.
Exactly. Recognize this to be slope-intercept form. So it does give us that y-intercept point, that 0, 4. And then our slope, negative 5 over 1, down 5, right 1, and whoops. How do I do that? How do I miss left on the top point and miss right on the bottom point? That's just a special skill. A very special skill. Anyway. Questions?
Oh, I see.
Especially if you didn't pass CO27 on the test where you had the graph in slope-intercept form. Make sure that we are understanding that.
Let's check.
Okay? It's almost like I'm reteaching that objective for you. Yeah,
I'm confused on how you got that one on the second one.
the 1, 4 point.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you get to 1, 4?
Okay. So Damien's asking about the point slope equation, where that first point of 1, 4 came from. Remember that point slope form, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, right? That x1 and y1 values are where our first order pair come from. So I need to look at this x1 value, which in this equation, x minus 1, the x minus is part of the formula, right? We see it in each of them there. So my x1 value is positive 1. Okay, my y1 value, again, notice that y and minus are part of the formula. So my y1 value is going to be 4. Okay, so that order pair 1, 4. That's that specific point that we talked about, that point slope form gives us. It's not on the y-intercept, it's someplace else, but it's a specific point. Okay, clear?
So the last one would be negative 6, negative 2.
The last one on the page? Yeah. So now, I mean, let's write point slope form again. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay? And we've got y plus 2 equals negative 1/10 times x plus 6. Now, what's really going on here, because x minus is part of the formula, like we just talked about, so what would the x1 value have to be to make it x plus 6? X plus 6. Kylie? Negative, right? Because x minus negative 6 is where this plus 6 comes from. Again, kind of the trick is whatever sign you see in the formula, your ordered pair value is the opposite of that. Right? So x plus 6 gives us an x1 value of negative 6. And we have y plus 2, same situation here. Okay? To get that plus 2, because y minus is part of the formula, that 2 is going to have to be negative in the ordered pair. Right? Y minus negative 2 is how we get the y plus 2 in the formula. So in the ordered pair, it's going to be negative 2. Again, the opposite of what you see. So negative 6, negative 2 is our first point, right about there. Our slope is negative 1/10. That puts us all the way over here. And there's our line. Okay?
Okay.
How are we feeling? Good. Jack, question.
Can we go over the one on the left
The first one or the second one?
first?
First one. Y plus 3 equals 3/4 times x minus 1. What's your thought? What is our x1 value here? What ordered pair are we starting with?
3.
Well, 3 is going to be the y1 value, right? Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So our x1 value is coming from right here. Okay. The question is, in the order pair, is it a positive one or a negative one? Positive. Okay. Because x and the minus sign is part of point slope form. If you look at point slope form, you see it there. Right? X minus. It's part of point slope form, which means the value we're plugging in for x1 is a positive 1 to keep that x minus. Because if it was a negative 1, what would happen? But if we plug in a negative 1 into x minus, so it's x minus negative 1, what does that become? X plus 1, right? Like we see happening here, y plus 3. You know, the formula has a y minus here. So in order to get a plus sign there, what sign does our y1 value have to be? Is this going to be in the order pair that this 3 came from here? Is it going to be positive or negative? Negative. Because if it were positive in the ordered pair, then I just plug in a 3 here and I'd be done. Positive 3, positive 3. Because this y minus is part of the formula, that's why it reads as y minus 3. But in order to get this plus sign here, I've got to have something happen. Okay? That 3's got to be negative. So y minus negative 3 is how it reads y plus 3 in the formula. Okay? It's similar to that slope equation, right? Where we had y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? If we plugged in a negative value for y1, what happened? It actually became positive. You know, if our ordered pairs were 2, -6, and 3, 5, when I did my y2 minus y1, 5 minus, because that sign's part of the formula, -6. What happens to 5 minus -6? It becomes 5 plus 6. Same thing going on here. To get that plus sign in the formula, it means that this 3 that we plugged in had to be negative. So that it interacts with the minus sign. Okay? So 1, -3 is our ordered pair. Our slope of 3/4 puts us there. And there we have it. Okay? Up 3 over 4. I plotted that wrong.
Yeah.
1, -3, up 3 over 4. There, that looks better. Sophie.
Can we go to the second page?
Yeah. I just one final word on this whole interaction with the signs thing here. If nothing else, just it's the opposite of what you see. You see y plus 3, -3 in the ordered pair. You see x minus 1, positive 1 in the ordered pair. That's kind of the shortcut to it. What's that? Yes. It's better if you know why it's opposite, like what makes it opposite. It has to do with the signs. But for right now, if you want this kind of practice, it's the opposite of what you see. Okay. Any other questions from this first page before we go on to the second page? Okay. Sophie, what's your question on page 2?
Second row, last one.
Second row, last one, with the y minus 3 and the x plus 4. Okay. What's your question on this?
I don't understand how, because I got the point, but then I don't know how to use slope.
The slope was given to you.
Yes, I know that. I'm trying to figure out how to plot that.
Okay, so what order pair did you come up with?
3,
You're-
-4.
3, -4. Okay, so you got those backwards.
Oh.
Okay, in the order pair, remember x always comes first. So it's going to be -4
-4.
and then 3. But you got the signs correct, right? Since it's x plus 4, to get that plus sign, it has to be x minus -4, which is why it's -4 in the order pair. And then it's +3 because it's the opposite of what you see here. That y minus is part of the formula. So the +3 would come from the order pair. So -4, 3, and then up 3 over 7 for your slope.
What? Oh, yeah. Oh, I did that.
Sure?
They had the bottom one.
We're in the second page.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I understand.
Okay. Other questions? Yes.
For like the bottom three,
Yeah.
does it matter which like point you pick to be?
No. Okay. So for the bottom 3, it says you need to write the equation in point slope form. The slope matters, right? Because the slope's going to be the same for any equation in point slope form for the graph. But you can pick any order pair that you want to. So which order pair did you pick for the first one?
-2 and then 2.
-2 and 2. Okay. So if you use that ordered pair, we'll write it over here. -2, 2. What's the slope of the line? Let's get out of the way.
Well, it's 2 over 4.
-3
over
It's -2 over 4, or simplest form, -1/2, right? We're going down 1 over 2 to get from point to point here. Okay? So you could have as one option y minus 2 equals -1/2 times x plus 2. Okay? Because the x value was negative in the ordered pair, it's going to be positive in the formula, x plus 2. Because the 2 was positive, the y, in the ordered pair, it's going to be y minus 2 in the equation. Did anyone pick a different point? Beckman, what point did you pick?
0, 1.
0, 1. Okay? 0, 1. So if you pick the order pair 0, 1, the slope is still -1/2. What's going to change are your values for x1 and y1, right? So we got y minus 1, because that 1's positive in the ordered pair, so we negative in the formula. Well, it reads as y minus 1 equals -1/2 times x minus 0. Okay? Another order pair that you picked. Will? No? Okay. Anyone? Alex? Negative what? I think you mean 4, -1. This one here?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So picking the order pair 4, -1. Okay. Slope's still -1/2, but the y value is negative, so in the equation it'll be y plus 1. And then equals -1/2 times x minus 4. Back to Beckman's here with that 0, 1. Obviously that's the y-intercept, right? So would it be easier to write it in slope-intercept form?
Yes.
Yeah, because I tell you to write it in point-slope form, I do need it in point-slope form. But remember, we can convert back and forth, right? When you distribute this slope into your parentheses, you get y minus 1 equals -1/2 x, and then nothing. Because -1/2 times 0 is just 0. Then move this 1 over to the other side, and you'll notice that you get the equation in slope-intercept form. Y equals -1/2 x plus 1. Right? Remember that these forms are interchangeable. You can convert from one to to the other. There you have it. Okay, questions on graphing point slope form? I'm telling you, we saw it today. You're gonna make, if you make a mistake, it's gonna be with those signs. Okay, so know why you're plotting an order period where you're plotting it. Look at the signs, justify why is this negative, why is this positive. Think about it. Okay, think about it. You got 10 minutes to work on announcement, homework for tomorrow. I anticipate the number game. You will get donuts tomorrow. Also,
Oh
yeah. What kind?
I believe they're coming from IV variety pack. So you'll have some glaze, some sprinkles, some. Yeah. My next door neighbor taught me how to use DoorDash. So that's how I'm going to do it. Yeah. My first order is free.
We all get Taco
so
Bell
free
instead.
shipping. All right, that's all I have, folks.
Okay.